Welcome to another episode of Dance Your Life podcast with your gal, Joanna Vargas, and you're in for a treat today. I get to talk to C8 Dynasty, and their founder is Salome Valdez, and I've known her for over 20 years, and we met when she was about 15. I was a little go-getter, dance instructor, kicking butt, trying to make it as a dancer, trying to make it as a choreographer, and that's how we met, and then she taught for me at my dance studio, and now she has her own dance company for over 15 years. And you get to listen to this conversation that I'm going to have with them. What's up, C8 Dynasty? How you doing today?
Hello.
They look excited. Yeah. They look excited. Let's jump into the juicy stuff, right? Well, let's start with Salome. Salome, how long has C8 been together? And give me a brief overview, because I know you have about like 27 dance companies. So which one is which? They're laughing. Okay.
Well, I started off with Collaborate Dance Company, and that was established in 2005. And then it wasn't until 2015 that we created Innovate Dance Company, which is our junior dance company. And then in 2016, we created Illuminate Dance Company, which is our contemporary dance company, and then Accelerate, which is our hip hop adult competition company.
Why did you call it Collaborate?
So funny story. In 2005, we didn't have a name at first, and I decided to give homework to all the dancers and tell them to come back to the next rehearsal and give me some names. And there was only two dancers, which is two brothers, the Ha brothers, which is one of them is John Ha, who is a huge deal now. Yeah. And they decided to say,
just a little bit. Okay.
Just a little bit. Shout out to the Ha brothers. They helped me a lot actually with graphics and all this cool stuff that they knew, how to work with music and everything. So they came up with Collaborate, and they said, why don't you call it Collaborate? Because you're very collaborative with creativity, you're very collaborative with people, with race, with styles, with everything. Everything about Collaborate was very collaborative. And he's like, why don't you call it Collaborate with an 8, so that in short, within years, people will start calling it C8, and it sounds cooler like that. And I said, all right. So that's how it came. Yeah.
And then all the other teams just fell under it with Illuminate and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That's a cool story, because the name is so important. I love to ask the name. It's similar to like a name to a band. When you name a dance company, it's like naming your band, right?
Yeah.
Or like naming your gang. So the name is really important. So the cool, fun names about names. Moving on to Esther. She is the director of C8. Esther, what makes Collaborate different than any other dance companies? What's like a little extra special spice?
The craziness.
True that.
The craziness. Yeah, that's, one way that I could put it, but I say craziness because the way that they do everything is just above and beyond. So I think that's what separates Collaborate from a lot of other dance teams. They just kick it up a notch.
With more the family and community, or are you talking about ideas and choreography?
No, everything. Because when I first joined Collaborate, I did not know what I was in for. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been in a company like this, because everyone was like very, hi, oh my gosh, you're such a good dancer. Like there was so much love. So I think just overall with love it is. With costumes, if you've seen some C8 videos, costumes are always above and beyond. Makeup is above and beyond. Music is always different. It doesn't sound like everyone else's. One thing that I learned jumping into the company when I first started directing from Salo, she was like, first thing, I love remixed music. I was like, oh, okay. She doesn't like to do the usual. So she likes to do everything different. I'm like, okay. So she didn't want to just stay in the same path or just do something simple. She was always finding a way and telling us directors and me when I was, and still am, but when I was more of a creative director, find a different way to do it, because that way has been done plenty of times before.
Esther, what's your favorite costume that you've worn already with C8?
My favorite costume? It has to be our last set, because that was the first time I actually got to make my own costume, because Salo makes us make our own costumes. by hand, and it was for rebellion, and it was based off Marie Antoinette. So it's very like elegant, it's very poised, it's very big skirts. So that was my favorite by far with Collaborate.
Thanks for that. Oh, yeah, that was a cool piece, cool dance, I'm going to call it. Moving on to RJ, I see on my top right with his Collaborate shirt and his Infinity 8 sign earring, if you can't see
It's
him.
not Infinity today, actually.
Oh, it's a different one.
It's
My
a little
bad.
feather.
Oh, it's a feather. Oh, that's hella
feather.
cool. It's very Janet Jackson. It's very 1989. Thank you. RJ, how long have you been dancing?
Dancing? Oh, God. About since I was a freshman, what's that, 8, 9 years, I want to say?
Freshman in high school or college?
High school.
God, okay. I was going to say, you look pretty good if you said college.
Thank you. No, but high school, yeah.
Well, if you're listening to this in real time, we're still in our quarantine days. We're still in, the pandemic. RJ, what have you been doing to keep you motivated during this time with dancing, especially with Collaborate?
So with Collaborate, my role is still the same, so rehearsal director. So whenever we had little, rehearsals via Zoom, that's what I was thinking, like, hey, so you're leading warm up, and I was like, I don't know why I'm surprised, but okay. That was always a thing. Towards the beginning, I got into TikTok for like a real hot minute, and then I fell off. I'm trying to get back, but besides that, like, just keep myself like motivated. As we discussed earlier this week. Whoa, that's weird. Like my meditation and just like really finding myself during this time, so I can like really, whenever the world opens back up, like it's going to be a whole different RJ, and the world is not ready. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So what do we have to look forward to?
Okay, so actually during this time, I started like my own production company, not like a dance company, but it's a film and video production company called Perception Pictures. I'm really excited. I have crew. I love them. We're like really getting our vision out there, and I love it so much. We have our next project is dropping today at 7:30, so keep a lookout for that. But besides that, I've really been working on my choreo and really learning how to express myself more fluidly. Mm-hmm. Because you can ask any of them when I talk, I'm just kind of everywhere, and I'm like, I will go into a whole metaphor that makes no type of sense until the very end.
And your choreography is similar to the way you speak then?
Very much so, yes. I'm not going to lie about it. Very much so.
Interesting. That's really cool. I was just thinking about how our choreography can mirror the way we live our lives. So if you're kind of a very anal clean person, is your choreography very clean and lines? Or if you're like a scatterbrained, is your choreography scatterbrained? I wonder, that'd be kind of like a cool little fun thing to check out. Thanks, RJ. Hey, Crystal, I see Crystal right here in the middle. She is one of the dancers of C8 Dynasty. Crystal, with the quarantine happening and, right now, what are some things that you look forward to when it comes to dance and it comes to C8?
When it comes to dancing, I think it's the environment and the vibe and the love that you get with the team. Like they said, the love that you receive with the team, it feels like you're going to summer camp, like you're seeing your friends that you've seen, you're like, oh, how was winter? Like right now, I feel like I'm in Game of Thrones in winter season, just staying here.
Good analogy.
I'm looking forward to going in the studio with the team. Yeah. So that's I'm looking forward to go back is to dance again. Love in that environment, especially right now during this tough time. You do get stuck in your mind. So going back to the studio really motivates me.
Crystal, how long have you been dancing and where did you grow up? What city?
Ooh, okay. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I grew up right here at Highland Park. So I've been dancing since I was 3 or 4. I took ballet, jazz, tap, and then I stopped dancing when I was 17 due to family issues I had. And then I came back dancing when I was 23. Yes, I'm 26 right now. When I was 23, I came back to dance, and then I dislocated my kneecap and I had another injury. I'm like, well, life is not letting me dance right now. So 2019, I came back from dancing. So I've been on and off since I was 3 or 4 years old.
Krista, when you were off dancing, did you feel like you really missed it? Did you feel off like in your life? Tell us about that.
Yes. So I really did feel very off. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was missing something, a part of me. And I didn't know how to pinpoint, especially when I had my injuries. I really hit to this dark hole tunnel because I was like, what am I doing? I need to do this because dancing is what it makes me express how I feel. It's honestly what makes me feel human. It makes me feel like I have a purpose. It's something that's really important to me. So that break time really did hurt, but what motivated me was like I could still go back. I will still go back to dancing. It's just right now break time.
Yeah, do you think that a lot of dancers are feeling that right now, like a little off because they're not able to dance as often, right? Like they're
Yeah.
climbing the walls. What
Yeah.
advice would you have for somebody that's like, I feel like I'm not myself right now because I'm not able to be in the studio?
I would say honestly, just lock yourself in a room and have dim lights or turn off the lights and play some music and just dance with no choreography. Just dance what you feel.
I like that. Just
Just
dance what you feel.
with purpose. Honestly, that's really meditating to me. Exactly.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, because I started a 7-day dance challenge, and even that one I kind of like got off. I'm like, dang girl, I'm not even doing my own medicine. So shoot. All right. Thanks, Crystal. Let's
No
go
problem.
Dwight. What's up, Dwight? I see Dwight over here. And Dwight, where did you grow up? How long you been dancing?
Hello. So I originally was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, and then I relocated to Arlington, Texas, and that's where I spent most of my years growing up. It was actually my sophomore year of high school. I had joined show choir for my high school, and it wasn't like real dance, but like it was the first taste of dance that I really got myself, and I was like, I want to see where this can go. And so that same year, we had a performing arts college from Corona, California come out to Texas called the Young Americans College of Performing Arts. And so I was like, if I'm really, cause like the whole workshop was so beautiful. Like they spent like 3 or 4 days, like putting this whole show together with us and like teaching us different styles of dance and like teaching us different ways to like vocally sing and also act. And so I was like, I could realistically see myself doing this for the rest of my life and being really happy with this. So like, out of peer pressure, I was like, you know what? They're about to leave. And so like I tapped on the director and I was like, I would like to audition to be a part of your college. And he was like, well, you have some years left. And I was like, I know, but I'm going to audition now so that you know that I want to be in there. And so then I auditioned, and then not even before like the beginning of my senior year, it was that summer actually, like I got the little envelope saying, congratulations, you made it. And I was like, oh my God. So then I moved out there. I moved to Corona and I was just dancing. I was learning hip hop, ballet, jazz, tap. I got to learn like a huge variety of dance that like most times like you don't really see when you start watching like the mainstream stuff. And so when I got to learn all of that, like I really grew an appreciation for dance. And I was like, this is such a beautiful like art element, because through dance, you really do express how you feel. It is like your voice without having a voice. And that was something I didn't know. And so now I feel like in my own personal life, I become more expressive, because when I do feel a certain emotion, I'll usually listen to music and dance first. And then I'm like, as crazy as this is about to sound, like I'll dance and be like, no wonder that's how I feel that way. That makes sense. And then like, we'll be like, okay. So dance has definitely started to play a huge role in my life.
And Dwight, is this something that you want to do? I know you said earlier when you auditioned that you want to do as a career, or are you doing it as a career?
Right now, it is something I'm looking to do as a career. I haven't really nailed it yet, but I am trying to get more exposure in any way I can, just trying to make sure that I am still dancing through the quarantine. I took the name Collaborate literally and started collaborating with different friends. We're still practicing social distancing. We started a nice little dance group called Dance Genetics so that we could send out different little dance concepts to keep everyone, kind of inspired during the quarantine, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, okay, like this isn't going to end. Like a lot of people are starting to get like that negative mindset again about the quarantine. And like the whole purpose of us is like, it's to kick that out the door and be like, no, keep practicing social distancing, keep doing it, keep living for yourself. Your time will come soon. It may be 2021 or 2022, but it's coming. Like it's coming.
It was interesting how we used to say 2021, but now we're like, it might be 2022.
Yeah, literally.
Dwight, what's your dream job?
I think I've talked about this to a few friends. I know my close friends a lot. I always say it. My dream job is like to be on, like when I think dream, like I don't think small. So like I don't want like a small little US tour. Like my dream job is like I want to be on a world tour, and not only on that world tour, I want to be one of the choreographers of that world tour. So I could be like, oh my God, I was able to travel, I was able to dance, I was able to show everyone my art and how I felt. And that alone, like you didn't have to like it, but I don't care. Like I was able to actually put it out there and like you're able to see it. And that will like, I don't know, my body just got all hot thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I want it so badly. And so that's why I want to keep working until like I can get myself there to where I know that I could put something on tour, on a world tour, and everyone be like, this is so beautiful.
Sending you lots of love for that. Whoosh, Dwight, you take that one. And you're going to send us some love in 2021, all around the world tour. Thanks, Dwight. Angel Leave. Coolest name ever. Angel Leave, where did you grow up? How long you been dancing?
I grew up in North Hills, California, and I started dancing when I was 6 or 7 years old. So it's been about 13, 14 years.
What
yeah,
type of dance were you studying?
I started off with hip hop, ballet, and tap and jazz. And I remember I knew I was going to be a dancer when this happened to me. I was going so full out that I fell on my face and I had a loose tooth and it fell out on the dance floor. And I was like, I made my mark. I made my mark on the dance floor with my tooth. I knew it.
You picked that tooth up, girl, and keep going.
I did, and I kept dancing.
You go, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Ándale. I love it. Yes, you made your mark, girl. Okay, now with the quarantine, how are you staying motivated? What you doing? Because I'm looking for tips. Everybody listening, right? Looking for tips.
So in the beginning of quarantine, I think everyone lost a lot of motivation, and maybe they took a pause. I for sure did take a pause on dance within the first 2-3 weeks, but then I realized, well, we're not getting out of this anytime soon. So I started to create a little schedule for myself. I'll be dancing from this time to this time. Maybe I'll stretch before this. I'll put in like an hour stretch, and then I'll take whatever class, or I'll teach myself on YouTube. And yeah, I just set up schedules, and that's pretty much it. That's how I go with my day.
I love that. So you put this in your Google Calendar, you write it down. What works for you?
I write it down. I write everything down. I like to color coordinate all my stuff, so that's how I know. It stays in my head, so yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, anybody at home that's feeling like unmotivated, or maybe they don't want to write it down. They don't want to do color coding. Any other things that you have, like, come on, you can do this. Anything else, Angelique?
Of course. Sometimes, friends or people need to hear it, so I have called a few friends where I see them posting, like, I'm losing motivation. What do I do? I give them a call and I tell them, you want to do this. Don't let this pandemic affect the way you think, the way you want to dance. It shouldn't stop you from doing what you love. If anything, it should make you grow. There's so many things you could teach yourself in this time. Do not forget where you're coming from. Do not forget what you want to do with your life. If you want to be a dancer, that should never leave you.
What about asking for help? And if anybody wants to jump in here too, but Angelique, asking for help, because I've noticed that I've had girlfriends that I've had to ask for help, but they're asking me for help. But what do you think about that?
I've asked for help, and it's about the friends that, they want the same thing. They're looking for what you're looking for. So it's really just about being there for each other and giving each other that high five. Like, we got this, we're all going through this. You're not alone. You just have to remember that you're not alone.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because sometimes I forget, like, wait, 8 billion people, almost 8 billion on this
Yeah.
planet are all going through it.
Mhm.
Girl, and I think I'm the only one, right? Right here
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. Yeah, and to ask for help or have a friend just reach out to you, you know, a little text or a little something, do you need to talk? Absolutely. Angelique, thank you for bringing that up, because Salome and I and Esther, we're talking about creatives as a dancer and visionaries and people that think the way we do. We're not the 9-to-5ers. We're not the logical personality types on this planet, right? As dancers, we are different like in a cool way. But sometimes we think the word different, right, can just mean maybe not as contributive. But I think a much different is actually really cool.
Yeah.
And with 2020 and with things changing, and I've noticed that creatives have a higher level of mental health, I'm going to say, issues. Let's just I like to use a different energy of word, but let's just say that. Now, what do you think with dancers that, because you're in it right now? I mean, I was dancing harder 20 years ago, and I don't think it was as prevalent as it is now. So who wants to jump in? What are your thoughts, and how can we help our creatives out there? Yeah, Dwight, go for it.
For creatives, I think something we could really do is just like let them understand, let them see, because I feel like something that we all learned last season was that the creative process is very stressful, and like it's stressful because they're trying to see how it looks on everyone else's bodies. They're trying to make sure that it isn't too fast. They're trying to make sure that everything lines up with the song. Like there's so many different things going into like a creative's head. So the best thing you can do is like support. And like what I used to do is whenever like I would feel the energy of the room and I could see like everyone's like kind of like, oh my God, I'm kind of starting to lose my motivation. Like I literally like, let's go, y'all, we're killing it. Esther, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Yes, you choreographed this piece, honey. We're about to compete. Keep going. Like just keep giving positive reinforcement. Let them know that like your art is not unnoticed and no one is ignoring your vision. It just may take some time for us to all understand it. And like, we're here to support you. Like, we're not here to like be like, oh, I don't like this. And I think one thing that really helps, and I think I've had to teach myself this, is like, know that not everyone is there to judge you. A lot of people aren't there to judge you. And so as soon as you get that out of your head, you can start gaining a little more confidence in doing the things you want to do, because you remember that hey, at the end of the day, like, it's you. Like, you do what makes you happy. You do what ultimately you feel as a creative should be put on the stage. Like, you do what you want to create. I don't know. I feel like I was hoping someone would pop in by now. I'm like, but
we got you, Dwight. Yeah. So lifting each other up, knowing that it could be stressful, right? Thanks, Dwight. All right, let's go on to Esther. What do you think we can contribute to all these creatives, Esther?
Jumping off of what Dwight said, I think the best thing is just pure motivation, because when the pandemic first started, I think all of us, all dancers, all artists, all singers, all painters, any type of art that you do, I think we all started to hurt so badly. And a lot of us, because we're so creative and usually we involve ourselves in a community of others who understand us, but we were then stripped away from all those people. That's what hurt the most.
Got it.
And when the beginning of the pandemic started, especially being a leader, that was very hard to direct, because I was trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I am in charge of 40 plus people who I don't know how they're going to be day to day. So motivation is what I feel is the best thing you can do. And also just being consistent. Right now, CA Dynasty we finally ended our season last month. So we're not together right now, but when the pandemic started, our main goal was let's continue being consistent. Let's continue being there. Let's continue motivating. Let's continue having our practices over Zoom, because I, at the very beginning, already knew, oh my gosh, if this hurts me, I can only imagine how everyone else is going to feel. And a lot of it was trial and error, trying different things. We created a Dynasty escape room where, you know what, nothing about dance here, just post funny things. Let's keep going. Let's keep making each other smile. Or, you know what, if you're having a bad day, express it to us. We want to be here for you. So creating a support group. And just overall, I think that's the best thing we can do as creative minds, is be there for one another, motivate one another, remind each other how special you are, because that's the last thing that we forget, ourselves. And it's very sad. We forget how special we are and how rare we are.
Absolutely.
As a leader, that was the hardest burden, not burden, but I guess the hardest weight I put on my back, because I expressed it to Salo. I was like, what do we do? Mm-hmm. And I mean, over the years, I'm thankful for having Salo, for having John, who is also another founder of the company, because they know how to direct, and thankfully they've been doing this for 15 plus years. So they were just like, okay, we can do this, we can do that. So I want to say for C8 Dynasty, we had a really good backbone, because we didn't just cut the season. We just kept going and finished it off like a regular season. So just being there for everyone, motivating and reminding them how special you are.
Esther, I like how you said that, because what popped for me is that as creatives, sometimes we're like nomads. We're just a little bit different, right? So we're able to come together with our other nomads, and then it's stripped away one day. Yeah, and now we're either at home alone, or we're at home with other people that may not think the way we do.
Yes.
Right? And now we're confined for 5 months with maybe logical thinkers, or they think this, or they have these opinions. And we were so used to being together with others that got us. Mm-hmm. You gave the example of the leader, and I wonder for the person that does live at home, or for the person that is at home with somebody that doesn't understand them and they feel lost or alone, even regard this pandemic and the mental, I guess, thoughts that come into our mind where we feel like we're not like everybody else. We have to kind of go against the grain. We always have to kind of go uphill a little bit, because I mean, in my day, in my 90s, you know, I graduated in 95, and everybody, you're crazy. You want to be a dancer? You're absolutely nuts. And that was 25 years ago. And it's not as, I don't think, as judgmental as it was back then, but yet I know it's still there, right? And we've paved the way, and then the next ones will pave the way. So jump in, anybody. What do you think, or some ideas for anybody that is at home, that is not the leader, that is like looking for others? What ideas do you have for them, or what thoughts? Let's hear from Salome.
I was going to let Dwight talk, because I've been loving everything he's been saying so far. So I'll go ahead, I guess. Even though I'm a leader, and I've been a leader for several years, I am still going through other things that other dancers are going through, because at the end, I am a dancer. You know, I'm not just a leader. I am a dancer. I feel the same thing that dancers are feeling, and it's like a huge loss. You know, it's a part of
mourning right now, Salome. Are you like in mourning?
Yeah, like it's been taken, and the thing is, it's been taken away. You know, but at the same time, like Angel was saying, what helped is really thinking about going back and saying, why did we even start in the first place? Why did I start in the first place? What is it about it that I love? Mm-hmm. Do what you can with what you have. And I'm really grateful that the dance community, especially all kinds of artists, came up with really great ideas especially on social media. You'll be seeing free IG classes everywhere. It was amazing. It was like everybody in the community started just helping each other out. Regardless if you were part of the industry more or the dance community more, you know, everyone just came together, and I feel that everybody felt more united. All dancers became united, especially with us. We reached out more than other times to other dance communities and other dance groups. We collaborated with them to have dance training, free dance classes. And that was really cool, because we were able to invite people to our free dance classes that we would have every Wednesday, and we collaborate with a different dance director from another team, and then that team would come in and they would take classes with us too, you know. So So I think as a whole, I think that a dancer can always just reach out. That's one of the most important things, that a dancer just can always reach out to anybody. And that's what this pandemic also brought to the dance community. It was to be united.
I like that, Salome, because what's popping for me is that when I was more involved in dance, I would reach out to non-dancers. And I would want them to say something that they normally probably wouldn't say. And I didn't think about reaching out to other dancers. I would reach out to the 9-to-5ers or my parents, and they would give me a different, I'm going to say, response, and I'm like hoping that they're going to say something. But I really like how you said that. The dance community became united and they were helping each other. Mm-hmm. That is freaking cool. Well, I do want to touch on one thing, because I've been asking a lot of the teams right now in our social situations and the Black Lives Matter movement, and now women helping women, or whatever that one is. And then I can't keep up. And then our, what's the other one? What else? A couple things, I mean, really that are leveling up to consciousness. And what are some things that you can think, and whoever, pop in, that we can do moving forward collectively as creatives to, shift this even so that it's even better for everybody? Okay, we got Salome again.
I got you on this one.
You got me, all right. And I hope I articulated that question the way I wanted.
Well, first and foremost, I do want to say that I'm gonna first say what Dynasty has been doing, and I'm gonna say what everyone else has been doing. So what Dynasty actually has been doing is we've been really educating ourselves by speaking to within each other and having our own meetings and allowing others to speak their views as well. Because again, we don't know how everyone else, what their experiences were. Especially when it came to BLM, we automatically got on that and we're like, you know what, we have to do something about this. How can we do this? We're gonna have a meeting. Everyone is invited. We're going to talk, and we're going to talk about this issue that's going on and how we can help each other with that. And then with that being said, we had already had an outreach program back in the day, and for some reason it just got lost, and we stopped it a few years ago, and we reactivated it.
What a gift.
Reactivated it, and we decided to make it more official, and we are calling it Activate with an 8.
Oh. Got it.
And Alex was not present. She is one of our directors, and then, like I said, Dwight is our other director, which we thought would be perfect for this role, because he's been definitely very established with everything that's been going on. He's been educating himself too, and he's been educating us as well. So we thought it would be a really good idea to have two amazing people taking care of this group, and so that we are able to help everyone else in the dance community, not just Dynasty, just everyone else as well. Because as a Dynasty, we don't just want to be a dance company. We want to be more than just that. So with that being said, Dwight, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, what I was going to say was, right now, like with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the, I believe one of the most recent protests right now is about sex trafficking. Then there was the whole thing about the sexual assault in the dance community. So through all of that, what I've kind of been learning is that you just kind of have to like pull back and like be prepared to have those uncomfortable conversations, because there is something that you may not know, or there may be something that you thought you knew, but then someone tells you about it. So you also have to come ready with an open mind as well. So like, as well as it being uncomfortable, you also have to keep an open mind, because you have to remember that, yes, like, let's say, for example, me and Angel, we're close to around the same age, right? But just because we're around the same age doesn't mean that like the way we grew up was the same. It doesn't mean that we have the same things. It doesn't mean that we saw the same things, And so we have to remember that we all have our own history that puts us where we are now. And so sometimes when stuff like this comes around, like the whole thing, like I was very grateful when the Black Lives Matter thing first was coming up, and like to keep in mind, since we have everyone here, remember it's not a trend. These are people's lives. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep speaking up. But I was very grateful that Salo and Esther gave me the floor to like be the person to speak out on it, because, you know, it meant a lot to me, because Esther was like, you know, I did want to be the one to talk about this, but also I don't know, like, there's some things I can still learn, but I feel like if you're comfortable enough, like, sharing what you know, then please do. And for me, that already let me know that there's already a change happening in the dance community, because people are wanting to know, like, they want to learn, like, they want to know, okay, this is the kind of dancer, this dancer has this background, so I need this dancer to know that I support them 100%. So it's kind of just, with this kind of stuff, you have to be willing to just kind of have the conversation, because I feel like a lot of people will avoid the conversation because they aren't ready to deal with, like, that awkward tension, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, Dwight. Yeah, and kind of going back to when I said earlier, I'm like, it's not that I was impugning on that there's so many, but like you said, like stepping back, like, oh, there's a lot going on. There's the Me Too movement. There's the BLM. I mean, there's this, there's a sexual, it's like, whoa, okay, here we go. How do we help all of them? Then you feel torn. And I really like how you said that. Are you really willing to have those conversations? So is that the uncomfortableness for me, where I feel like it's so much, because I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to be really expansive in order to receive all this information right now. I really like that, Dwight. Okay, because I feel like we can have this conversation for a very long time. I see Esther, she wants to jump in.
I will make it sweet and short, but just to jump on what Talo said and Dwight said, in regards to all of this going on, I think also the best thing, how Dwight said, is to really pull back and to understand when it's not your time to try to say that you understand someone else's issue. A lot of meditation needs to be done. A lot of reflecting needs to be done. And I mean, just overall, that was such a big thing in the dance community. And for C8 Dynasty, that was a very big thing as well, where when it first started, that's why I pulled back. I'm like, and I'll be honest, I am Latina. I don't know how to speak about this. So you know what? I'm going to hand it over to the correct hands. And that started the great bring back reactivation of our outreach program. And we're just so excited because we are handing it to hands that will better take care of it, better know how to involve people, how to help people. And I'm excited. That's something I'm very excited for. That's coming in the future, is not only our beautiful dance teams that are within our company, but another team that we are adding on that is going to be so helpful to so many minds, because so many people need help.
Mm-hmm. My takeaway from what all of you have said is that really step back, and then even more and even more. And it's not stepping back as in getting smaller. It's like, just got to really take a moment. Yeah. That's resonated with me. Anybody else want to jump in on this? Feel complete on that? Yeah. I mean, this was pretty contributive on that. I want to hear more conversations and more points of views and where people are coming from. Putting a bow on this is really great. Where do you think dance is going? And even besides the pandemic, where do you see it? And just, there's no right or wrong, right? Like, what do you foresee? Salome?
Appreciation, a lot more appreciation for each other and for the art. I think that, and I'm hoping for more art, more creativity, more out of the box, more open minds. I think that whatever we're going to be seeing is going to be something that hasn't been seen. And I think, and I'm really excited about that, because, like, again, Collaborate has always been that breath of fresh air. And I'm going to say it because we've been told in our score sheet several times. And something that I'm very happy about, because as an audience member, I love seeing just unique creativities, unique creations. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, because all the creatives are taking this time as well. Not all, but most, I hope, are taking this time to figure out, hey, I wanted to do this. Why not do it now? Because they were afraid of being said that they were different and unique, or being made fun of, you know? But I think more people are becoming stronger now, and they're going to be able to come out and show their actual what they've been envisioning, you know? So I think that's what's going to happen. And I really hope it does happen, but I really think it is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but you're going to see a difference little by little with all kinds of styles. You're going to see, wow, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. You're going to see a lot of that. And I'm really excited about it because I've been waiting for that to happen.
I'm very hopeful for the future, doing all these interviews, and especially with the younger generation, Gen Z and millennials. I am in awe of how smart and conscious they are compared to my generation. We were there. And you know, save your DMs, you know, for my Gen Xers that are going to tell me. But I wonder if we were raised, my generation, with a little more rough around the edges, and we helped pave the way a little bit, but it was different than it is now. So I'm so hopeful for that. And I see Dwight, he wants to jump in.
I was gonna say what I think it is with Gen Z is when we were growing up, I could say that we had a little more exposure due to the fact that we did have technology. Like we had stuff in our hands, and you know, parents can watch you for so often, but then like once you kind of start scrolling through the internet and all that, you start to learn different things, you get to see different things. And so I feel like with our generation that helped a lot, because like also like we're always on social media, so we're always seeing different little things. And so there's also like this huge cancel culture, which is I kind of support when it's being used in the right way. And then when there's like a cancel culture to like just cancel people for no valid reason, I hate that. But like my whole point of saying is like Gen Z, we have been connected in a different way than generations before us, and that's technology. And like technology keeps messages and everything going around the world in like minutes, seconds sometimes. So you're always kind of up to date. And so I feel like that's why with Gen Z, you have seen like a lot of different new things come out and a lot of different things. Because I'm sitting here in California, but right now I could be watching a video or talking to someone all the way in Japan. And I'm just like, that's the norm now for Gen.
Dwight, I never thought of it that way. Very, very interesting. Because I think our generation, Gen X, was more controlled. Our parents can control us. I don't think you can really control kids as much as you could when we were. So everything and everything was very small. Whatever you saw in your town, on your street, in your family, that was it. And so with the controlling, we might be not as open as the new generation. And I'm in such awe. And I thank the Gen Zers. Thank you for doing it. Like, man, what balls. I love it. We're going to tie it all together right now. And how we like to end this is with a nice cool down and one word to describe your dance journey. And I'm going to start with Salome. And just the quick word, Salome, what's your one word to describe your dance journey?
I'm going to use wonderful.
Crystal.
Unexpected.
Esther.
I'm going to say hard, but I don't want that to come off in a bad way, because hard things can also be beautiful.
I love you, Esther. She's got to have the whole story. RJ.
So this is going to sound really dramatic per usual, but treacherous.
Treacherous. Powerful word. Dwight.
For me, the word I would use is beginning, just because I feel like throughout this pandemic, I've learned a lot from like the different movements, from just like also watching all the different styles of dance. And like, it's all been very inspiring to where like, I'm starting to create like my own vision in my head for my style of dance. And so like, I feel like this is just the beginning for me.
Beginning. And we're going to tie it together with Angel. Angel Eve.
I'm going to use growth or challenging. Growth because you're always going to grow in your dance journey. That's just the basic thing. You're never going to stop growing. And challenging because it is something, there are things you need to do to make yourself better, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, like putting yourself out there, even if it's like posting a video by yourself dancing and you're used to dancing with a group of people. Mm-hmm. So just little challenges like that, and just being able to challenge.
Challenge and move forward and grow. C8 Dynasty, this was a pleasure. I have learned so much. My cup is full. I feel great. Salome, where can everybody find you on Instagram, Facebook, and what do you have coming up for C8 Dynasty?
So Collaborate, well, we haven't changed our C8 Dynasty on Facebook, so it's still Collaborate Dance Company. And then our Instagram is C8 Dynasty Dance. And for now, we're just using our Instagram a little bit more than our Facebook. They're linked together, but we're actually working on a lot of projects right now. We have auditions coming up in August, and it's going to be virtual. And there will be also an option where people will be able to send us their videos, and we're going to be teaching choreography, and it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be a free workshop. So some good stuff is in the works right now.
Look out for their auditions. Thank you, C8 Dynasty. This was so fun. And until next time, remember to stand out. Love y'all.